Welcome to the Other 99% podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Duck, a coffee-loving direct sales enthusiast who's obsessed with a good digital system. Come join me for a realistic look into the world of direct sales. We'll explore inspiring perspectives, learn about unique business tips, and celebrate success stories that often go untold. Because on the other 99%, every seller matters. Hey everyone, it is me, Lisa, and welcome back to another episode of the Other 99%. Today, I want to introduce you to my friend, Kim. Kim is another person that I have not yet met in person. I absolutely love the internet because, you can meet so many fun and interesting people and create like good friendships. Like I feel like you and I talk quite often. So, Kim, I want you just to jump in and introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are, what you do, and all that stuff.
Sounds great. Well, thanks for having me. My name is Kim DiTraccio. I currently live in Connecticut, very close to the airport, which is nice for traveling. I've been in direct sales since the mid 90s. I started with a company called Amway,
Oh, okay.
and yep, and that
Everybody knows
transition.
Anway.
Everybody knows Amway. Yeah, so that was fun. I just didn't really dig selling toilet paper and toothpaste, but I did I did like the whole direct sales thing. But I ended up I did that when I was in Florida, and I ended up moving back to Connecticut in 2000, and the end of 2002 I was introduced to Tastefully Simple. Now, I did not like to eat. I did not like food. I ate to survive. I didn't season anything. I was a very plain Jane, picky eater. I probably disliked more things than I liked, and I definitely didn't know how to cook. So for me to jump into Tastefully Simple was quite a shock to quite a lot of people, but it has truly, truly changed my life. I now like almost everything. And I no longer eat to survive. I eat because I enjoy food. I enjoy myself in the kitchen, trying new things. I definitely still like to follow a recipe though, because I'm not very, what's the word? Adventurous when it comes to being in the kitchen. So I joined January 2003, and I don't know, it's just been wonderful.
Yeah. It's so funny that you say you have to follow a recipe because I am so bad. Sometimes people are like, well, how'd you make that? I'm like, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm like, I'll have to make it again and I'll have to write down exactly what I'm putting in because I just don't know. I just do it to taste, right? And it's so funny. And that's why I love Epicure. And that's probably why you love Tastefully Simple because it makes it so easy.
It
Uh,
does.
yeah. So you said that you were introduced to Tastefully Simple. How? Like how did you go to a party? How did you get introduced?
At the time, I was selling bar and restaurant equipment, and my sponsor came in to buy the largest cutting board we had to offer because her husband liked to hunt deer and was sick of
Oh.
the deer carcass coming into the kitchen. So she just pulled out this pencil sketched catalog of the Tastefully Simple products from 2002. At the time, there was three women sales reps in the office and two guys. And the three of us women were like looking through this catalog and we're like, oh, that looks good. Oh, that sounds good. Today, our catalogs put those catalogs to shame. But I was like, oh my God, this stuff looks amazing. So I told her I would have a party, talk to all the girls and gals, guys in the office to come, plus my mom and some of her friends and, some other walks of life of my friends. And so I had that in December, mid December, probably. I don't really remember exactly when it was, but I was like, this is such a no-brainer.
Hmm.
Like you and I were talking earlier, everybody eats. Like,
Yeah.
even if you don't want to, you have to eat. And I was like, if I like all this stuff that I'm trying, then everybody's gonna love this stuff.
Yeah.
So I had told her the night of my party that I was going to sign up, but it wasn't going to be until the end of January because I had some surgery scheduled in the beginning of January. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that.
So how old? Because I know Tastefully Simple isn't up in Canada. Um, I know that I have a little treat coming in the mail, so
Shh,
shh,
you
don't
do.
tell anybody.
Shh.
But I'm excited to try that. But how long has it been around?
June 15th, 1995.
95. Okay. It's actually older
Mm,
than Epicure. 'Cause Epicure is
Yep,
like 97. So that's kind of neat.
yep.
Um, all right. So I want to know, and I want you to tell everybody, like, how are you currently running your business?
So I love being in person. I am definitely an in real life rock star when I can be. This time of year, I do quite a few events. I have my staple events that I do every single year. Um, I love doing in-home parties as much as I kick and scream going out the door because I don't really want to leave my house to go anywhere. Once I'm there, I am in my comfort zone. I love doing parties online to supplement. They're just not as good as they used to be. So I
Hmm.
prefer being out there. And actually, I went and voted today and dropped off some catalogs and business cards at the town hall. So
Yep.
wherever I am, I will talk about it because I truly believe in the product and it's so easy.
Yeah. Well, I kind of find it funny when people say to me, when I introduce them to Epicure and it's like, oh, I don't like to cook. And I'm like, exactly. That is why I love Epicure because I don't like being in the kitchen. So please
Mhm.
give me something that makes life easy, get me in and out of the kitchen, and the food still tastes great. And I don't have all that mess to clean up. Like, that's why I love Epicure, not because I'm a master chef because
Nope.
I'm far from that. Like I do many like especially baking. I do many baking flops in the kitchen and it's quite hilarious. But
Well,
like
baking, you need to use the recipe. You can't just a pinch of this, a pinch of that. You have to follow a recipe when you bake.
I still don't do that. Unfortunately, you know how you're supposed to measure out your flour properly. Yeah, Lisa doesn't do that. I just like
Oh,
scoop and it's like, why is this so dense? It's like, gee, I wonder.
you need to hook up with a Pampered Chef consultant to get yourself some measuring cups and
Yeah,
spoons.
yeah, exactly. All right. So I want to know, I mean, everybody has something that they're super proud of in their business.
Mm.
What is the one thing, or you could have more than one thing, but what's something that you're proud of?
So early on, so I didn't join Tastefully Simple to make money. Like that was kind of like an added bonus.
Hmm.
I didn't need it to live. I didn't need it to pay bills. It was like extra fun money. So I bought my first cold water wetsuit and everything I needed for scuba diving up here because
Okay.
I joined the dive team, the state dive team, which is not always a fun thing to have to go and do, but I did join that many years ago when I was a volunteer firefighter, and that was like a big purchase that I was able to do without having to take money from any other funds. And then the next big purchase was our two boxers that my husband and I got. And I'm like, it doesn't need to come out of our family, our like work money.
Hmm.
It came out of my Tastefully Simple business money.
Yeah.
So, but the biggest thing was for Tastefully Simple, and I'm sure for Epicure in 2020, 2021, our businesses kind of boomed.
Hmm.
Um, February 14th of 2020, I had 19 team members. June 30th of 2020, I was over 70. I double
Yeah.
promoted. I had some great bonuses. Um, so the money is kind of why I stay,
Uh-huh.
but not the reason why I started. So it's the purchases that I've been able to make. And, right now I would love to be able to take my husband to Germany to go visit his son, who's currently stationed in Ramstein for the Air
Oh,
Force next year. So I'd like to just be able to do that with just the money I've earned.
yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure you'll get that because you are knowing you, I know that you're very, very consistent in your business, and that's what pays off. Consistency will pay off no matter how big or small your consistent actions are, but you just have to stay focused. All right. Now, you've probably heard this terminology before, but superpower. I want to know what you think your superpower is in your business.
So that's Becky's thing, right? The
Yeah.
IR. So I come up as IRL. So in real life.
And how do you use that to your advantage? Like, are there any tips that you could give the listeners, like when you're at in real life event? So if anybody's wondering what IRL means in real life, when you're at an event, what do you do? Like, how do you gain the trust of the people you're in front of? Like, what do you do? Any tips that you can give?
So the biggest thing for me is when you're doing a vendor event, when there's multiple vendors and crafters, is to not be sitting down. Be standing up, be in front of your booth, be engaged, not be on your phone, say hi to everybody, bring them into your world and show your passion and ask them, especially for us, what protein do you like to cook with the most? Ask them questions and then shut your mouth and open up your ears and listen to what they have to say and see how you can be of service to them. And I like to do a drawing so I can get their contact information so I can stay in touch. I obviously ask for permission.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at my in-home parties, you just have to have fun. You can't, I say all the time, I've been doing this for 20 years. I still make mistakes. I'm not perfect. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay, you know? Never once is a party exactly the same as the one before, or, I can do the same same host parties one or two times a year. It's never the same. It's
Mm-hmm.
always different. So, you just have to be real and honest and listen to what people want and
Yeah.
what
And
they
I,
need.
I love that you mentioned, you have the same host once or twice a year. And that's because you've gained their know, like, and trust. So they keep
Mhm.
asking you back in their home. So that's a big key. Just want to go back to your draw ballots. Is there anything specific that you put on your ballots? Like, what are you asking for?
Um, Name, address, email, phone number, favorite TS product. And I have different ones. Like some of them say, do you want information on meal planning? Do you want to host a party? Do you want more information on the business? So Tastefully Simple actually has one that we can use, and it's good. It has all that main information. And then the last thing says, what's your favorite product?
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that might help some people out because they're wondering, it's like, what do I put on ballots? And everybody's ballot
Yeah,
is different. And I just recommend that, you know, go with what you want to represent in your business. Like, I've seen ballots that go through things like, oh, do you want to join my pantry club? Do you want freezer meal workshops? If you don't offer those and you're not prepared to offer those, don't use those ballots, because
right.
then if you have somebody that has circled yes, you're going to be racking your brain trying to figure out, well, how do I get this done? So if all you're going to do it right now in your business is sell the product, sell the business opportunity, and maybe sell a subscription box, those are the only things you want to include on your ballots, and make sure that they're clear. And
Mhm.
only, I like to say, ask questions that are simple to answer. Like, don't expect people to write an essay. So for example, you
Right.
say, what's your favorite product? Well, that's a quick answer. You just
Mhm.
put like one or two words and answers it. It's not asking them for a full paragraph on what do you love about Tastefully Simple, right?
Yeah. And don't ask them something that you wouldn't be willing to put down on someone else's form.
That's so true. So true. All right. So my last question, and I always ask this of everybody who comes on. Do you have a special quote or some words of advice that you've heard? I mean, 20 years in the business, so that you feel that every direct seller needs to hear.
It's a business. And if you want to make money, if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to work it. You have to be willing to put in the time to build the connections. Otherwise, it's not going to just come to you. If money just came to you, then everybody would be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's not that it's not easy or hard. It's it's just a job.
Yeah.
It's you don't go to your full-time job and just sit there and play twiddlywinks and
Yeah.
get paid. Well, maybe some people do. I don't know. But that's not typically how it works. You have to work to get
Yeah.
paid. And the best thing about direct sales is the recognition, because you go to your 9 to 5 job and you typically don't get thanked on a regular basis, or a gift in the mail for your anniversary, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It's so different.
Yeah. I love when they say, you need to schedule your work time with direct sales. You need to know when you're working. Your work can be flexible, but it is not optional. You know,
Correct.
like you can move it around, but you can't just, oh, whenever I work. If you do that, then your paycheck is going to be very optional too. I think
Yeah.
that's what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
For sure. I struggle with like office hours, and now that I'm retired, I have more time and but I make sure that I touch my business every day for at least 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't work on
Consistency.
my birthday this year. Did not work on my birthday. I don't even think I turned the computer on.
Good for you. You earned it. So,
Absolutely.
all right. So I know that you have your own personal branded website.
I
Um,
do.
so I'd love for you to share where people can find you on the World Wide Web.
Well, my website is kimstskitchen.com, but I am on Facebook. That's really bad because I think that I should know these things like 100%. Like, I don't.
And we
So,
can we can
hey,
drop the links in the show notes. So it's not a big deal if you know the exact word, but they can find you on Facebook and where
Facebook,
else?
yep. TS by Kim D on Facebook. I am on Instagram, and those are pretty much the two places I hang out. More Facebook than
Yeah.
Instagram. I'm still trying to learn.
And what I love about your website is that they'll be able to find all of those links on there. So we'll just link to
Yes.
your website in the show notes, and then she has her social links set up so you could just click through and find her on um Facebook and Instagram if you'd like. All right, Kim. Well, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us for this episode. And I'm sure the listeners are going to have lots to take away. But we will see everybody next week on the next episode of Another 99%. Take care. This episode of the Other 99% podcast has been brought to you by Spice It Up with Lisa Duck. If you're struggling with the question of what's for dinner, let Epicure help you put quick, delicious, family-friendly meals on the table in 20 minutes or less. Learn more about what Epicure has to offer. Visit spiceitupwithlisaduck.com. And if you're new to Epicure, be sure to use promo code EPIC15 in your cart at checkout for 15% off your entire first order. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to listen to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you would take a minute to rate and review the podcast, I would absolutely love it. And if you know someone who really needs to hear this podcast, please feel free to share it with them. More listeners, the better. And if you know someone who would like to be a guest on the podcast, or you yourself would like to be a guest, be sure to check the link in the show notes or visit lisaduck.com and click Be a Guest. We'll talk to you soon.